Shalakaya Chakshuruntam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Vandeham Shri Guruvaram Shrupadakaravam Vajarasarasitam Charayanam Dhammapamanam Shri Guru Charanam Vande Ramanaprasthaya Bhutale Rupanugavakidam Cha Vipamurti Nadayanam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Vipasindhudevascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my 600 pranams under the lotus feet of our most worshipful Sri Gurudev. Nitya-lila Prabhishta Om Shrivad Shishwan Bhakti Narayan Sanskrit Maharaj Garupada Vardhan and all assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas. So today we are observing the Disappearance Day of Thakur. Therefore, let's see if we have time for our daily Chaitanya Shrishamrita. But first, we glorify Srila Thakur. So, I'm preparing. I'm just going to read from biography of Srila Thakur from Srila Bhakti Maharaj. Yesterday, Srila Bhakti Maharaj also. One of his contributions is like his books, this book especially is like a bestseller, the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. And I think he's the one who was, you only find among the Gaudias, like a comprehensive book about the different associates of Mahaprabhu. From early, like before Mahaprabhu, like from even before Ishwara Puri, Maravana Puri, and even Jayadeva Goswami, I think he was included. So anything connected to Mahaprabhu Lila included. Of course, Mahaprabhu is not the Advaita Tattva, all the way down to the next generation of the Goswamis, and up to even Narottam Srinivashananda, I think. So, and there's two volumes in the book. We're reading now from the second volume. It has some accounts on the Vrindavan stuff. So we can use that for our discussion today. He starts with quoting a verse from Gaura Gangadesh Tripika. He says, Veda Vyaso Ya Evasi Daso Vrindavano Adna Sakhayaha Kushmahapika Karyatastam Samavisha. Translated to English, it says, Veda Vyas became Vrindavan Das Thakur. Krishna's friend Kusumapi also entered into him for special purposes. So that's according to Purza, Kavikarna Purza. He wrote this Gaura Shivika. He said, Vrindavan Das Thakur is Veda Vyas, but also Krishna Saka, Kusumapi, also in him. So, Maharaj said, Veda Vyas described Krishna Lila. So Vedavyas described Krishna Lila in Srimad Bhagavatam. None different from Vyas, Vrindavan Das described Mahaprabhu Lila in his Chaitanya Bhagavat. So we all know this book is very famous, Chaitanya Bhagavat. Two like very prominent books as far as Mahaprabhu's life and pastimes and teachings. There's Chaitanya Charitamrita and there's Chaitanya Bhagavat. So his book, this Chaitanya Bhagavat now, was first called Chaitanya Mangal, but when Lochan Das gave the same name to his biography of the Lord, it was dubbed Chaitanya Bhagavat. So this was original Chaitanya Mangal. You know, later on, Lochan Das Thakur also have another book, also named Chaitanya Mangal, and therefore the devotees here in Vrindavan, they especially to honor him, to honor Vrindavan Das Thakur as the Vedavyas or Chaitanya Lila. Then they change the name of the book to Chaitanya Bhagavat. Vrindavan Das was born on the Krishna Dwadasi of the month of Vaishya. Now, again, don't be confused, because Krishna Dwadasi, when you say Krishna Dwadasi, that's the dark part, right? In the month of Vaishya. Now already we're in Vaishya. So that means this coming Dwadasi. That means disappearance. But actually, in our calendar, it is in Jeshta. It's next month. And we can understand that is because, how to explain? Yeah, this is correct actually. No, this is correct. According to like the Bengali calendars, because for some calendars now, for calendars that starts with new moon, you know, their Vaishya will start in new moon. So that means their Krishna Dwadasi will be in the next, like going towards the next new moon, right? But us, we start on the full moon. So therefore, for those who are starting on a new moon, this time is still not part of Vaishya. No, this is still part of the previous one, Chaitra. So this is his appearance is on the Dwadasi. But for us, starting with the full moon, then that means that will be on the Jeshta month now. That's after the Purnima of Vaishya. The Purnima of Vaishya, that is the appearance of Radhaman. Okay, so that fortnight. So that is just after Apara Ekadasi. So that's Dwadasi, that is his appearance day, and his disappearance is today, just before which you can see tomorrow. Bharotini Ekadasi. Actually today, the Tithi is already Ekadasi started. But we're not doing the Prata today because it's a Purva Vida, like mix. Brown Murta time doesn't mean still there. There's a difference of also with calendars, because some temples they do it Ekadasi today. And that is mainly because of the differences of the way we calculate the tithis. There's two systems, you know, the Vishuddha Siddhanta, or the Greek Siddhanta, and then there's the Surya Siddhanta. Like this. Those that are following the Greek Siddhanta, that is like more like with a modern way, they try to adjust what was previously like the system. Then they have different like result of calculation. So according to their calculation, already the Ekadasi started before 2 o'clock this morning, and that's why it's not Purvamida, it's not mixed today. But according to Surya Siddhanta, that's what we follow. And like everyone, those are like the Chaitanya Mahats and Chaitanya Saraswati Mahats and many Mahats. Then the Ekadasi Tithi started like almost 4 o'clock this morning. It is already which is already past Brahma Muhurta. Meaning Brahma Muhurta started, Dasami was still there. Why? Because sunrise, especially in Mayapur, sunrise is 5 o'clock. That means Brahma Muhurta is around 3:30. So 3:40 something is the start of Ekadasi. So from 3:30 to 3:40, Dasami was still there. Therefore, it's full Gavita. Anyway, so that's why tomorrow is Ekadasi. But his disappearance is celebrated today because this Dasami considers still Dasami today, and he disappeared Dasami of this Vaisa. So Maharaj here said, some say he was born in Mangachi in the Navadvip area. Others say his birthplace was in Kumarhata. So no one really knows. Some say he was born in Mangachi. But the thing is, whatever Prabhupada said, and really, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, he was born in Mangachi. And therefore, if you go to Mangachi, you will see there's this temple there. It's when we visit there. Then that's his birthplace. They put them there without establishing birthplace. You will see his deities of Bornipan. So it said his father was Vaikuntanath Vipra, who originally came from Sylhet, that is in Bangladesh now. His mother, Narayani Devi, we all know Narayani Devi, very famous, his mother. Narayani was the daughter of Srivas Pandit's elder brother. Who is that? Sri Nalini Pandit. You remember during Srivas Pandit's appearance day, we remember he has 4 brothers. Because the eldest one is Sri Nalina Pandit. But then he passed away early. And so then, along with Srivas, he's got 3 other brothers. Do you remember their name? Srinidhi, Sripati, Sriram, and then Srivas. That makes them 4. And they like only spend so much of their day in Kirtan. So it says, Srivas, he's actually the eldest brother, Sri Nalini Pandit. His daughter is named Narayani. Kavi Karnapur has also mentioned her name in his Gauranadesh Dipika. It says, Ambikaya Swasaya Singh Namna Shila Kilimbika Vishnu Shishtam Pramunjana Sayam Narayani Mata. Kilimbika, who used to eat Krishna's remnants, was the younger sister of Krishna's nurse, Ambika. Krishna has one nurse named Ambika. Her younger sister is Kilimbika. now in Mahaprabhu Leela, and it says this Kalambika, she used to eat remnants of Krishna. Because it's always available there. Her elder sister is the nurse of Krishna. And she collects the remnants of Krishna and also she eating. But it says, but now in Mahaprabhu Leela, who is this Ambika, the nurse of Krishna? Now she has come as Sriva's wife, that's Malini. And that younger sister of this Ambika, Ambika now is Malini, and this Ambika's younger sister Kalambika now has come as Narayani. That now the niece, that's niece, no, the niece of Srivas and Malini. Narayani also achieved fame because she received Gaurasundar's mercy when he gave her his remnants. He's famous. She's famous for this. Mahaprabhu used to give her like her prasadam, and not just that. He said the Lord displayed His divine form in Mahaprakash and Shiva Sangam. You know what happened? This Mahaprakash. This is the Sapraharya Bhav. You know, there's 7 Prahar, meaning 1 Prahar is 3 hours. So 7 Prahar, that means 21 hours. For 21 hours, Mahaprabhu was showing his God, like this, and like giving blame to everyone, calling one by one. You know, like, oh, this is like this, and giving them blame. Mahaprabhu. Because you know, sometimes Mahaprabhu is in the mood of devotee, sometimes he is in the mood of God. When he is in the mood of devotee, then he is always in this ecstatic mood, sometimes falling down, and sometimes very painful for the devotees to see. Like oh, how he would drop on the floor, like very strong, like this. But when he's in that mood of his God, then the devotee is like, because when he's in the mood of devotee also, then he will be chasing everyone, taking their food dust, like that. And they don't like, you know. But when he is in the mood of God, then he sits on the altar, like this, and giving blessings, and they go giving offering or bathing him like this. So during the time, he said in the time of Mahaprakash, Narayani was only 4 years old at that time. And Mahaprabhu gave her praying. She was intoxicated in praying. Actually, before that event, or that's probably the day of this Mahaprakash, that Srivas, they were so like an anxiety. Because there's a rumor that the king is coming with some soldiers, and so there's like 2 boats full of soldiers that are all coming. And it may be true, it may not be true. I mean, usually it's not true. Like it's made up by people who are, like envious of Srivas, or they're so disturbed by Srivas. Like some atheistic and also envious people there. They're so against the devotees having kirtan, especially at night. And then they're all complaining like, oh, we're not able to sleep nicely. And also, Radhe Radhe, Haribol, you can do Harikatas, another place. I know. Haribol. So, Hare Krishna. So then, at that time, it said that this envious people, sometimes they made up like stories just to like threaten the devotees. And they themselves are so against. So he will report you to the king. Report at that time the Muslim are like ruling. So we will report you. They will like throw your like house to the Ganga or like this. So many like this. But especially this time they're threatening that, oh, the king with some soldiers are all coming now. So they're so afraid. And so what happened, then it said, Mahaprabhu understood how the devotees are like anxiety, especially Srivas, because his house is the headquarters, that's the place where they bring the kirtan. And so Mahaprabhu came one time, and the door was locked even, and hey, Srivas, open the door. Like, what are you doing there? And then Mahaprabhu sat on the altar. And he actually explained to Srivas, call all your family members. And he's telling that if I know why you're in anxiety, he said, you should understand that I am in everyone's heart. And this is a very good teachings for all of us. Sometimes there are situations where we are in danger, or sometimes we think that we're in danger because of some certain personalities that we think they're so powerful, And this is what Mahaprabhu said, that I am in everyone's heart. They can be the greatest demon. I am also in their heart. Like that. And none of them can do anything without my approval. Because really, he is Ishvara. Like this. He can be the greatest demon and can be, you may think he can order and can do as he likes. But he's still under the influence of Bhagavan. Bhagavan will not allow him to, or makes him think in a different way. He cannot go against that. Like this. So he said, I am in everyone's heart. No one can do as, really as they like, unless I allow it. So he said, you're afraid the king will come. He said, let them come. And look, I personally will meet them. We'll meet with all the soldiers. And usually, say, they're Muslims. Really, what they want to achieve, really. Because they're also into, so-called spirituality. He says that, they want everyone to worship Allah, or, like this. So then, he said, I myself will meet them, and I will challenge them. It's he can call all his greatest priests, whoever is the most powerful leader, like that. And I will challenge them to change everyone's heart, make them cry in loud for God, like that. So they can never do that. Because usually they enforce religion, which is more like politics, really. Be submissive and to the rule of God, which is really our rule. And giving all the rules and regulations. He's not really out of melting of heart and in that way becoming very pure, and just absorbing love for God. It's not really like that. So Mahaprabhu said, call all their priests, the greatest of their priests, and I challenge them to change, melt everyone's heart like this. They cannot do that, but I can do that, and I can even make that king cry like a baby, like that. So, and Mahaprabhu, just to give them an example, so he called this girl, only 4 years old. I can make that king cry like this girl, like this. And I said, chant Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And then this little girl that's chanting and just absorbing praying and rolling on the ground. That's how merciful Mahaprabhu. He can do that to any demon. He can do that to the king, like this. And so he's showing to the devotees, look, I can do this to anyone, don't worry. Like this. They may be your enemy now, but they can be even better than you. Because now they have praying and they're rolling on the ground and praying. Like this. And so then Mahaprabhu pacified all the devotees. Now they're not fearful. So Narayani is very lucky. From that time, when she got praying, also she's known to receive Mahaprabhu's mercy because many many times Mahaprabhu giving her his remnants. In some accounts, there's some, it's also like legends, like some village talks, whether it's true or not, but it's also telling some glorification on his personality, Narayani, and in relation to his son, what's his name? Vrindavan dasa. He said, that time Lord Nityananda just arrived. After Lord Nityananda arrived, that was the time when they started all their daily kirtan. Not very long after, just when Lord Nityananda arrived. Very soon after that, they did Vyasadeva Puja, Vyasa Puja. It was Guru Purnima. And Lord Nityananda, he was the priest. The story, right? That was just very soon after when Lord Nityananda arrived. And so that time, he said the day before that, even Lord Nityananda had a danda. He broke his danda also and throw to the Ganga. Like that, just that time. So, he said that around this time, Lord Nityananda, he saw this child, Narayani, very good, always engaged in services. Probably in one class, telling all the details, how she would serve, she would collect very fine dust from the Ganga, and even sift that to make it really fine, and then gather, keep that and give it to Mahaprabhu and the devotees, because this is their soap. That time they don't have any soap. They wash with earth, like that. And he would daily fetch water for Mahaprabhu and the devotees, like this, help in any of the preparations, collect flowers and like this. And always there joining the activities, kirtan. So he said Lord Nityananda once saw her. Now he said that before that was the system when even young, early age, already they have this marriage already. And that's why sometimes even their little kids some are already widowed, right? Because they're already married at an early age, like this. Sometimes they're married, but they're not staying yet until when they reach the right age. Then that time they can stay together. That's what happened to, who was that? There's one devotee that they were already married previously, but then after, because they were not together yet. At that time when he's supposed to come, then he forgot actually the place. The first lady he saw, he asked where, Mataji, where is this? He called mother, but that was actually his wife. And later on, because he called mother there, and from that time, he always treated her like mother even. I forgot, who is that? Lojan Das Thakur, huh? Lojan Das Thakur. So, then, so it said that she was married, and we heard, by Kultanath, Brahmin. But he died early. So he said that that time he was already widowed. When Lord Nityananda saw Marini, Narayani, and he blessed her. You will have a very nice son. Like that. But already he has not, her husband already died. And from that blessing of Lord Nityananda, then he got, she became pregnant. And that's why it said that they were so worried what people will say, and that's why they hid her, and she was living together with Imam Gachi. There's Vasudev Datta, and also who is this really senior devotee Mahaprabhu there. I forgot his name, but he was living there in Mount Gachi because that is isolated place. So, Saranga. Murari is his disciple. So she was staying under Saranga and also Vasudev Datta in that place, and that's why Vrindavan Thakur was born there. And so then later on, Vrindavan Thakur, up to 10 years old, he grew up in that area, that place. And then from 10 years old, he left the place. He began to follow Lord Nityananda. So that's in one some accounts of some devotees. We also know that Mahaprabhu giving him prasadam, and from that then Vrindavan Thakur also was born. So he said, whether born in Mangachi or in Kumarhata, Vrindavan Das later lived in the village of Denur. Denur within the Matreshwar precinct of Burdwan district. So in Burdwan, this is a famous place where we always go down in one station, then we go down there, and from there we go to Navadvip. So in that area, there's this place Denur. That is actually the place where Vrindavan Thakur lived. Later, he lived there. It is said that if you go to this place, then the devotees in this place, there's also the temple there. They would explain. He said in this place, Denur, one landlord of that area, his name is Ram Chakravarti, Ram Hari Chakravarti. He said that he was always praying, and that was always his desire that I wish Lord Nityananda would come. I want to, if Lord Nityananda is merciful, I will have the opportunity to have his darshan and actually render service to him. That time Lord Nityananda was he was preaching in Bengal. Lord Nityananda was sent by Mahaprabhu, to Bengal, and he was doing the preaching. He going many places along with the Dasa Gopal. So when Vrindavan Thakur, I think, if I'm not mistaken, around 16, he got initiated by Lord Nityananda. It is said that he is the last disciple. He was directly a disciple of Lord Nityananda. He got Diksha Mantra from Lord Nityananda. So he was always with Lord Nityananda. They traveling. So he said that in this place, Denur, this landlord from Hari Chakravarti, he had always this strong desire that he's praying that I hope Lord Nityananda would come and visit. I will have the opportunity to have darshan, not just darshan, but serve him. So while he's been praying one day, he saw from afar, very colorful, many people have very colorful clothes, and they're coming nearer and nearer. Some wearing blue dhoti, some white, some saffron, like this. And then when they came near, then he said, "Oh, it's my Lord, Lord Nityananda." He was so happy, and he immediately ran and offered obeisances to Lord Nityananda, and he happily inviting and that, like, please give us a chance to serve you. You come in our house and accept prasadam. We'll prepare everything. But then Lord Nityananda said, look how many we are. We're so many of us. We will not fit in your house. So then Lord Nityananda said, then just arrange for all the ingredients, and we will let us prepare here outside, and then we will partake prasadam here outside. And so then he supplied all the rice, the dal, everything. And so then they made nice preparation. And then finally everyone take prasad. Vrindavan Das Thakur was also there. He was serving Lord Nityananda. After Lord Nityananda ate, he said Lord Nityananda asked for some haritaki. You know this haritaki? It's like usually after eating, it's very good for digestion and like this.
It's like sugar with cumin and other spices, no?
Yeah, it's a type of like plant. So then he asked, Lord Nityananda asked, and immediately Vrindavan Das Thakur, he took from in his dhoti, like he already have, he saved some, and he already have, and immediately gave to Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda, he was like, how very quickly, and then Vrindavan Das Thakur was like happily said, oh, I know you will ask, so I saved this morning, I already saved something for the day. And he said, we should understand that this is a lila. So immediately he said, Lord Nityananda became angry. We know Lord Nityananda, who wrote this song? Akroda Paramananda, that's Ocean Dasapur. Lord Nityananda never angry like this. So we should understand also, whatever it is, it may look anger, but it's never anger. Those so-called anger of the devotees and Lord Nityananda, what? They're not really anger. Of course, they look like anger, and anger, in real sense, what's the definition of anger? Like in Gita, it says from contemplation, knowledge of the senses, what is lust, attachment develops from attachment lust, from lust anger arises. So when you say devotee became angry, that means because they're lusty, like this. No. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained actually that anger of the devotees, and in this case Lord Nityananda, this is not anger, it's actually a transformation of their brain. It's a transformation of love. So, and it's auspicious, So everything has a reason and a purpose. So in this case, we just have to see that there's a specific reason for this. But in this pastime, it appears like that Lord Nityananda became angry, and he immediately chastising Vrindavan Das Thakur, saying that a devotee should only depend on Krishna. He should not save for something in the future as if he plans that it will be like this. He said he should just be dependent on Krishna. If nothing will come, that means he should just understand that this is how Krishna wants. But whatever it is, he will not stop with his real duty or real activities. And what is that? Only glorifying Krishna, chanting, kirtan, like this. That is main activity. As long as nobody can stop this. And life of the devotee is only this. As far as anything else, for maintenance or anything, he should not worry and just completely depend on Krishna. And anyway, Lord Nityananda, he ordered later on, after everything, then Lord Nityananda was ready to go, and he told Vrindavan Das Thakur, he said, you should stay here. You cannot come with me anymore. And so, it appears like a punishment. But really, it's not. Because, if someone is punished and really rejected, someone will say, oh, he's rejected. That means connection is cut. But what happened actually, just because of this, the more his relation with Lord Nityananda, was there. Actually, Lord Chandra arranged that. So then there's continuous preaching. You know, he knows this devotee have to be taken care of, the community have to be taken care of, and he has to write this Chaitanya Bhagavat. Where did he write this Chaitanya Bhagavat? In this place, like this, in Bengal. So Lord Nityananda ordered him actually, he should write biography of Mahaprabhu. And it is because of Lord Nityananda's mercy that we can see how wonderful this work, Chaitanya Bhagavat. He was not there, like you may say, he was not there physically during this time. He was talking like all these like pastimes, even before his birth. Like from the time Mahaprabhu's appearance and everything, and writing in very clear detail. How he is able to write this? Because Lord Nityananda like showing to him, revealing to him, like, and then he's writing. Also, he's not writing like now, because we just read the translation, and when it's translated, it appears like just paragraphs. But he actually wrote it in a poetic, in a certain type of meter, like this. And this is like very like poetic, like Bengali. And so, not only with all the rhymes and in verses, he's written like that, but it's full of very sweet pastimes and makes it like very easy to remember. That actually you can like of course for foreigners it's very difficult. We're not so used to language, but like for ordinary Bengalis, they can easily like memorize these songs, and like natural for people to like sing like they can just sing this while they're cleaning, while they're cooking, and they're singing their song of the pastimes of Mahaprabhu like this. So Vrindavan Thakur, he wrote this Chaitanya Bhagavat here. So it said that this dinur is considered to be his Shripad. He spent some of his childhood with his mother in Mangachi at the home of his maternal grandparents, where Narayani was married. Vrindavan Das Gornita deities are still worshipped at the Mangachi home. When his father died, he and his mother moved to Sriva's house, where he received Mahaprabhu's special blessings. Because of the copious blessings he received from Nityananda Prabhu, Vrindavan Das is said to have been his initiated disciple. Vrindavan Das is the recipient of Nityananda's blessings. He is the original Vyas of Chaitanya's pastimes. This is directly from a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Antya-lila, 20th chapter. Krishna Karunya is directly telling that Vrindavan Das is the recipient of Nityananda's blessings. He is the original Vyas of Chaitanya Lila. He wrote Chaitanya Bhagavat in 1535 AD. So, in 1535, we know that Mahaprabhu, he disappeared 1534. Around that time, 1534, 1535. He took sannyas 1510. 1510, then plus how many years of sannyasi? 24 years. So that means 1534. Yeah, 1534. So, it said 1535, he wrote Chaitanya Bhagavat. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, has written the following in praise of Vrindavan Das Thakur. Vrindavan Das, the son of Narayani, wrote the Chaitanya Magga Vedavyas describes Krishna's life in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and Vrindavan Das is the Vyas of Chaitanya Lila. Just as Vyasadeva compiled Lord Krishna's pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam, Thakur Vrindavan Das depicted Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. His Chaitanya Mangal annihilates all misfortune. From it, I learned the wonders of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, and came to know all the most subtle doctrines of devotional service to Krishna. Who's telling this? Who's telling this? He said, I learned the wonders of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, and came to know all the most subtle doctrines of bhakti to Krishna. All the subtle doctrines of Krishna bhakti. Who's telling this one? That is Krishna's Kaviraj. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's telling like this. And really, if you're Chaitanya Mangal, now Chaitanya Bhagavat, if you read all these pastimes, it's not just telling pastimes, like all are from their conversations. You know, they would always highlight like principles of Uttama Bhakti, like this. So Vrindavan Das Thakur has summarized the essence of the teachings of the Srimad Bhagavatam in his Chaitanya Mangal. If even a Muslim or an atheist should listen to Chaitanya Mangal, he immediately becomes a great Vaishnava. An ordinary human being could not have composed such a sublime work. Lord Chaitanya himself has spoken through the mouth of Vrindavan Das. So that's how Krishna's Kaviraj glorified. He said, actually, Lord Chaitanya himself has spoken this through Vrindavan Das Thakur. I offer millions of obeisances unto the lotus feet of Vrindavan Das Thakur, who has delivered the entire universe through his book. He was born in the womb of Narayani, who eternally enjoys Sri Chaitanya's remnants. How wonderful is his description of the activities of the Lord, simply by hearing which the three worlds have become sanctified. So that's this from Chaitanya Charitamrita in Adi Lila, in the 8th chapter. So Vrindavan Das became so absorbed in the description of Nityananda Prabhu's life that he did not elaborately relate all of Mahaprabhu's activities, only summarizing them in abbreviated form. Krishna Das then elaborated on these undescribed activities in his Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is the thing with disciple. Disciple, in everything he do, he always remembering his Gurudev. When we can understand, Vrindavan Das Thakur is disciple of Lord Nityananda. So from very beginning, we can see, although the book is about Mahaprabhu, and yes, it's talking about Mahaprabhu, but there's always like so much glorification of Lord Nityananda. And you can see like many chapters of Lord Nityananda's pastimes are nicely described. So there are some pastimes of Mahaprabhu that are not elaborately described. And those ones, later on, Krishna Das Kaviraj, he elaborated. Vrindavan Das, the authorized biographer of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and equal, not different to Srila Vyasadeva. He has described the Lord's pastimes in such a way as to make them sweeter and sweeter. I shall try as far as possible to fill in the accounts he left out of fear of excessively enlarging his book. So that's what so that's what Krishna's Kaviraj is told. Vrindavan was primarily Mahaprabhu's early activities, such as his pastimes as a student, his childhood, his chastisement of the Kazi, his departure from Navadvip, as well as some aspects of his life in Puri. So all these activities Vrindavan Das has accounted in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Vrindavan Das Thakur demonstrated infinite mercy on the fallen souls by warning them. Ita parihari o jay papi ninda kore tabe lati maram tar shiver upare. He said, even after being told how objectionable it is if someone still blasphemes the Vaishnavas, then I will kick him in the head. He was telling like this. Vrindavan Das Thakur. He said, you are already told how bad it is to criticize Vaishnavas, and if you're still criticizing, especially if you criticize my Lord Nityananda, my Gurudev, then I'll kick you on your head like this. So some people also they go, what is this? Is this how devotees talk? Like this. But you should see, like, look how merciful he is. He said these same words are repeated. It's not only repeated once, but it's repeated in Adi, in Madhya, and Antya, Lila, of Chaitanya Bhagavad. So some foolish and arrogant persons misunderstand such statements and criticize Vrindavan Das for having told them, So such criticism leads them into the mud of offensiveness. And the more they you said, the mud is it's more like a quicksand, actually. It's like they're already critical and they're already offensive, but instead of becoming free from their offense, that the more they're now diving into this quicksand. In a quicksand, you cannot get out. This quicksand of offensiveness. So in this connection, the remarks of Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, are well worth studying. He said, so what did Prabhupada say, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said in regards to this? He said, I am ready to kick the heads of those envious and hellish persons who blaspheme Nityananda Prabhu. Why? If by so doing, I will be able to forever prevent them from repeating their attempts to show disrespect for the Supreme Lord. Not only that, but if by so doing, I can bring about a clear conception of the truth, I will be performing them the greatest service. Prabhupada is saying that this is his motivation really. It's like he's preventing them from becoming offensive. He's preventing them from any misunderstanding. And in this way, he's only performing service to these people. So, that's how Vrindavan Das, the incarnation of Vyas, the Acharya of the Vaishnava faith, says, if even a single fleck of dust should fall from his foot on the head of a sinful blasphemer, then that person will be blessed and all his sinful conditioning will inevitably be eradicated. We always said the foot dust of the devotee, the Charanamrita, the Prasadam, they're very powerful, But, it's very difficult to get that unless the devotee gives the mercy or arranged for that. Now, Vrindavan Das Thakur, he said I'll offer my foot dust directly, I'll kick your head. So, anyone who will be blessed with his foot dust definitely is auspicious for them. All their sins will go away. He said all his sinful conditioning will inevitably be eradicated. In words which embody the goddess of learning and a flood of pure devotion, the Thakur reveals compassion for even the most atheistic blasphemer with the unswerving faith appropriate to a servant of Nityananda Prabhu. That's how we should see. This is what Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said. And that's how we should see it. His words are an embodiment of Saraswati, the goddess of learning. And it's a flood of pure devotion, like this. So when he say, I'll kick their head, it's actually we should see that this is full of compassion. And especially for that atheist, blasphemer. He said, he tells them that though they should be the object of indifference due to their foolishness, nevertheless, because of their ignorance of the truth of Nityananda, their insistence on rushing headlong on the path to hell, and their reluctance to act in their own real self-interest, he and other compassionate Vaishnavas like him, who practice and preach the Lord's doctrines, unselfishly and disinterestedly act for their welfare. The compassion which is manifested in Vrindavan's statement is beyond the comprehension of those who have no understanding of what is truly in their own self-interest. Anyone who follows in the footsteps of Vrindavan, the incarnation of Vyas, and both practices and preaches the Vaishnava religion is always engaged in an effort to bring about the ultimate well-being of everyone. Though he may make a superficial show of wishing to punish the enemies of the Lord, in fact, he harbors a compassion toward them with which knows no limit. Towards them which knows no limit. Did you get that? This is my Prabhupada. He's standing like this. It's like it's only like superficial show of punishment, like to the enemy. I will kick their head. He's only saying like that. But in reality, what is it? He's actually having this compassion. And they should see the purpose, why he's standing like this. And if they can see, then they'll realize really that he's doing so much compassion to them, they're helping them not to be engaged in this very dangerous activity of blaspheming devotees, especially to Lord Nityananda. So his compassion has no limit. Vrindavan Thakur's Disappearance Day is the Krishna Dasami of Vaishak. So here it says Krishna Dasami of Vaishak. That means today, Krishna Dasami of Vaishak. There is some dispute the exact year of his disappearance, which was likely 1511 Saka, which is in the Western calendar, that is 1589. The some puts that as his disappearance day. Okay, so that's how Maharaj, Srila Bhakti, Bhagavad Maharaj, gathered all accounts on Vrindavan Thakur. We are remembering this, praying to his personality. Actually, by his mercy, then our generation, the future generations, is like he provided like a gate, like a venue that we can enter into the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, if not for them, if not for Krishna's Kaviraj, then how would we know pastimes of Mahaprabhu? How would we know the pastimes of Mahaprabhu and learn exactly what special teachings in his life and all his family members, his associates. Okay, so today we're observing this festival of his disappearance, and tomorrow then we'll also do Vrata for Bharati Ekadasi. Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Srila Vrindavan Thakur ki Jai, Tadiya Dhruva Bhakti Mahamsa ki Jai, Tayor Pramandi.